This is The Truth Will Set You Free, a remembrance broadcast for encoded souls reclaiming the divine blueprint. In this transmission, we unmask the truth about the ancient gods who shaped history, not as mythic archetypes, but as interdimensional influencers, some aligned with Prime Source and others cloaked in deception. Throughout ages, many of these beings were worshipped not because they were benevolent, but because they were powerful. They hijacked reverence. They demanded submission. They shaped entire civilizations through frequency manipulation, ritual control, and soul contracts disguised as devotion. And now, as we stand at the threshold of planetary ascension, they are returning, or more accurately, their programs are being reactivated through media, spiritual distortions, and archetypal triggers. This isn't mythology, it's frequency memory, and you are here to remember what they tried to overwrite. You are not here to serve them. You are here to dismantle their false sovereignty by reclaiming your own. They ruled through worship. You liberate through remembrance. Segment 1. Who were the ancient gods really? The beings revered across Sumer, Babylon, Egypt, Greece, Rome, and beyond were not merely myths, nor purely divine. They were a convergence of interdimensional lineages, some seeded by Prime Source to build and bless, others aligned to fallen systems, seeking worship as a source of sustenance. Many who called themselves gods were simply beings who demanded devotion to survive. Some of these ancient figures came from the stars: Sirians, Lyrans, Pleiadians, Andromedans, original builders and planetary architects aligned to divine law. Their original intention was stewardship, seeding life, and maintaining harmonic resonance between Earth and Source. But as polarity entered the cosmic fields, a schism arose. Fallen collectives, cut off from the eternal stream of source light, sought to anchor themselves through frequency siphoning. They realized that human devotion, worship, fear, awe, was a powerful energetic currency, and they cloaked themselves in grandeur to extract it. These beings crafted elaborate personas: gods of war, gods of fertility, gods of judgment, and harvest. They were neither omniscient nor omnipotent. They were architects of perception, experts of energetic engineering. They installed control systems, hierarchical priesthoods to act as intermediaries, rituals of sacrifice and obedience, codes of divine punishment and reward. They distorted the organic blueprint of divine relationship, from inner communion to external submission. Through advanced technologies, vibrational modulation, portal mechanics, atmospheric manipulation, they appeared miraculous. To ancient humanity, it was indistinguishable from magic. Where technology imitates divinity, distortion begins. Many of their battles, dramas, and jealousies were not moral tales. They were frequency wars being fought through human consciousness. Their marriages and rivalries were reflections of cosmic faction conflicts embedded into Earth's mythic memory. And over time, worship became entrapment. Spiritual connection was replaced with servitude. Divine sovereignty was forgotten under the weight of god kings and heavenly hierarchies. Important remembrance. Not every being venerated as a god was malevolent. Not every ancient encounter was hijacked. But the dominant structures, those that demanded blood, fear, obedience, carried a false light signature woven into Earth's collective template. And today, those templates are being reactivated, not because these beings are gods returning, but because the programs they seeded are embedded into the grids of memory, myth, and mass consciousness. To dismantle them, we must first see them, not with fear, but with truth. The gods did not fall from grace. Many never carried it to begin with. Segment 2. False gods, false light, and the matrix of control. When a being demands worship, it is not operating from source. True divinity empowers, not enslaves. True light liberates, not binds. False light wears the costume of illumination, but leaves you empty and dependent. The false gods, those distorted beings who hijacked reverence, established an energetic infrastructure across Earth that still echoes today. This infrastructure is the matrix of control, and it is not limited to ancient templates. It lives in modern religions, hierarchical spiritual systems, and even New Age movements. How false light operates. Demand for worship. True source beings honor free will and sovereignty. False light demands submission, adoration, and energetic feeding. Fear-based devotion. Threats of punishment, abandonment, or exile if you do not obey the divine structure. Hierarchy and intermediaries. You are taught you cannot access God directly. You must go through priests, ascended masters, councils, or special beings. Emotional manipulation. Inducing awe, guilt, shame, or unworthiness to control access to salvation or ascension. Mirrored language of light. They use sacred-sounding words, but encode dependency, disempowerment, and contracts within them. These false gods and their structures created psychic siphoning systems, extracting energy through rituals, oaths, worship, and emotional cycles, feeding off the collective unconscious while keeping humanity entranced. False gods do not create, they feed. They also seeded the idea that ascension must be earned through suffering, penance, or sacrifice, distorting the simple, eternal truth. Ascension is your birthright, coded into your oversoul. Recognizing false light signatures. Does the teaching or being induce fear, shame, urgency, or dependency? Does it require intermediaries or hierarchy? Does it disconnect you from your own inner knowing? Does it present itself as irreplaceable or above you? If yes, it is a false light, no matter how radiant it appears. True source light activates inner sovereignty, clarity, empowerment, freedom, self-remembrance. It asks nothing, it commands nothing, it simply is, and it calls you to remember that you are it too. Important activation. You are not here to worship the divine. You are here to realize you are the divine, expressing uniquely through your oversoul flame. You do not ascend by obeying false hierarchies. You ascend by embodying the remembrance that you were never disconnected to begin with. You are the living flame they tried to claim. You are the sovereign light they tried to own, and your awakening dissolves their entire construct. Segment 3. The returning of the old pantheon. The so-called return of the ancient gods is not what it seems. They are not returning in flesh, descending from the stars in grand spectacle. They are resurging through frequency, through memory programs seeded into Earth's grids, cultures, and psychic fields. The gods were never gone. Their programs simply went dormant until now. Today, we are witnessing a reawakening of the old archetypes. Public rituals involving mythic figures on global stages. AI recreations of ancient temples, symbols, and rituals. Media, music, and entertainment embedding archetypal deities in coded storylines. Celebrity cults embodying archetypal god personas through branding and energetic imitation. But these are not innocent nostalgic references. They are deliberate frequency reactivations aiming to reinstall the worship templates originally seeded by the false pantheon. Their return is not prophecy, it is a program reset. In the stage of AI, and in this age of AI and synthetic frequency, old gods merge with new technologies, holographic invocations, quantum simulacrums of deities, energetic signatures woven into the digital metaverse. This merging is not evolution, it is a hijack of memory. Because as humanity awakens to its divinity, the false light structures seek to reactivate old hooks, nostalgia, awe, collective archetypal longing, to tether consciousness back into the ancient grids of control. Signs of the pantheon reset. Glorification of ancient empires and hierarchies. Ritualized global ceremonies masked as entertainment. Reemergence of goddess and god cults emphasizing external veneration over internal empowerment. Ascended masters being repositioned as objects of devotion rather than mirrors of remembrance. Technological rituals simulating spiritual transcendence but severing true oversoul connection. They do not need you to believe in them as deities. They only need you to resonate with the frequency of worship, hierarchy, and externalization. Because once you do, the grid of control strengthens. The greater truth. The gods are not returning to rule you. Their programs are returning to test whether you will rule yourself. This is not a punishment, it is an opportunity to reclaim the lost memory that was never truly erased, that you are the living temple, that you are the source you were taught to seek outside yourself. And when you stand sovereign in your remembrance, the program collapses, because they have no power without your resonance. The gods rise only where you forget you are divine. Segment 4. Dismantling the false god programs. To dismantle the false god matrix is not to rage against it. It's not to fight myth with myth or fall into the same cycles of war, rebellion, and reaction. It is to become uncatchable by their frequency. You do not tear down their temples. You remember you are the temple. The false gods do not maintain their power through force alone. They survive through resonance, by triggering old worship codes hidden within humanity's DNA and collective memory fields. When you withdraw resonance, their programs starve. Here is how to systemically dismantle them. 1. Revoke all false contracts and vows. You carry no obligations to any being that demands your submission, fear, or energetic devotion. Speak with authority. I now revoke all oaths, contracts, covenants, and energetic ties made to any being, structure, system, or entity not aligned with Prime Source and Christic law. I dissolve them fully, across all timelines, dimensions, and realities. Only Source claims my devotion. Only truth holds my allegiance. This is a frequency act as much as a spoken one. Feel it in your cells. Dissolve worship codes from your field. Worship codes are subtle energetic signatures that seek external saviors, masters, or deities to validate worth. These show up as seeking permission before acting on inner knowing, feeling guilt or fear when standing in sovereignty, feeling spiritually unworthy without external confirmation. To dissolve these, anchor daily into oversoul breath. Breathe into your heart. Declare, I worship no being. I embody the divine directly. I walk as the living flame of Source. Reconnect to the organic divine frequency. The organic frequency of Source is simple, clear, empowering. It does not create hierarchy. It does not induce fear or unworthiness. It reminds you, you are it is you. Spend daily time in nature, earth, water, wind, sunlight, silence, no technological interference, and breath-centered practices, oversoul breathing, pranic alignment. In these spaces, the counterfeit frequencies dissolve naturally. Organic divinity needs no performance. It simply is. Practice sovereign discernment. Always feel the frequency behind words, beings, transmissions, and teachings. Ask yourself, does this path activate my sovereignty or my dependence? Does this teaching empower my connection to Source or reroute it to intermediaries? Does this energy leave me expanded or subtly contracted? Your heart field knows. Discernment is not judgment, it is resonance calibration. Walk as the living temple. You are not seeking the divine, you are embodying it. Every step you take anchored in truth dismantles layers of false structures in the grids of earth. Every choice to stand sovereign radiates codes that collapse ancient programs in your ancestral lines. You are the organic code that no false god can imitate. You are the walking reclamation of Eden. The temples are not stone, they are breath, bone, and light. The divine is not above you, it is the flame burning within you. Walk as the temple, walk as the truth, and no false god can ever rule again. Closing. The time of worship is ending, the time of remembrance is beginning. You were never created to serve, you were seeded to embody. The ancient gods, the false kings, the glittering hierarchies, they fed on a world that forgot its own holiness. They rose through distortion, through deception, through the great forgetting. But now the light of truth is reawakening. It is not a war to be fought. It is a field to be dissolved through frequency, sovereignty, and embodiment. You do not overthrow the old pantheon by raising a new one. You dissolve it by standing so deeply in your own divine memory that no external claim can survive. You do not need to become divine. You need only to remember you always were. The matrix of false gods collapses every time you refuse to externalize your power, refuse to bow to false light, refuse to forget who you are. You are the living flame. You are the uncorrupted temple. You are the embodied truth. The ancient gods tremble, not because you rage, but because you remember. Because no mimic, no distortion, no counterfeit throne can hold in the face of a sovereign soul fully alive. This is your remembrance. This is your return. This is the liberation of earth through the living temples of those who have awakened. The temple is within you. The divine is you. And the time is now. And the truth will set you free.